Here's Jim. Look at it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BMT. I hope y'all like that deep, dark bass music, because we definitely got a talk coming on. Is Kyle Rittenberg the savior of the Constitution, or just showing how far we are? I put that in there, and I had to ask the question because literally me and Michelle are seekers of the Constitution, of literally having a fair and balanced conversation. I feel like this is definitely something that we definitely need to get on and talk about. If you like to help us out, please like, share, subscribe, and doggone, let's talk about it. Because this is definitely something that we need to call upon. I've been seeing a lot of stuff go on in the show. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting pretty bad. But people think that this is the new coming of baby Jesus. God sent. God
you
be
have
with
a
him.
you have
Go
a
ahead.
bunch of bitter older people that are sitting around wanting somebody to do what they want to do. They really want to speak out about their own pain, their own misery. They're at that point in their lives where they realize they've clocked a lot more years than they have left. And those are the main ones that are so cheerful and jubilant that two people are dead. Two people are dead. All because one crazy woman decided to take her 17-year-old son across state lines so he can be part of history. And he is now part of history. But she has ruined her child's life. That at the end of the day, he gets into an argument with one of the protesters who happen to also be white. So you have a lot of people milling around. The police told him, okay, get off private property. Well, we're here to protect it. Okay, fine. We appreciate y'all. Now leave. Instead of going finding his mama, he gets in the middle of another argument. Somehow or another, someone says the N-word. A white guy walks up and says, call me the N-word. Call me the N-word. Call me the N-word. The white guy had a plastic bag in his hand, and exchange got even more heated, and he threw the bag at the boy. From all indications, it's a sandwich, a little freezer-sized bag. No Molotov cocktail, none of this, none of that. It was just a bag, a plastic bag with maybe an inhaler or something in it. It wasn't. You see an object that couldn't be any bigger than a travel size things in there. Anyway, so after that, the little boy gets his feelings hurt and yells out again. But when the 5'3" man comes at the little boy. I'm gonna call him a little boy, even though Trayvon was not afforded that same dignity. 17-year-old boy started to continue the argument. Next thing everybody knows, he shoots the man in the face. Now, granted, if you're telling somebody, shoot me, nigga, shoot me, nigga, shoot me, nigga, only a fool would find that to be provocation or reason for you to fear for your own life, to use deadly force. You are allowed to use deadly force to repel deadly force. You are not allowed to use deadly force because you feel intimidated. You have to use the same level of force. So after these people see this kid shoot a man in the face and run away, they pursue him. And in pursuing him, one guy hits him with a skateboard to try to apprehend him. That man is shot in the chest and killed. Another man tried to hold him for the police with a gun, and in exchange for that, he is shot in the arm. So tell me how this kid who gets up, fires additional warning shots at the crowd while he's in the middle of the street, walks past the police who are responding to a call of an armed, dangerous white boy shooting people. So one more time, you hear the shots. You get a call that, hey, white boy shooting people. You see a white boy with a gun. You go, oh, it couldn't be that white boy with a gun that could be shooting people. He looks like too much of a clean-cut kid. Yeah, okay. No, they go running in, arresting people, dispersing the crowd, saying that in the melee they got confused. They thought one of the protesters, bear in mind there were black and white protesters out there, that they thought one of the protesters had been shooting. So either way you want to look at it, whether it was racial bias or whether it was just bias against the cause, the police allowed him, in their bias, to walk past him, even though they knew there was an active shooter. Joe, what do you think?
So, first of all, the fact that people think that this is he was doing a patriotic act blows my mind. This kid ain't no patriot. He ain't no savior. But we got to do the content and we got to cover everything. Kyle Rittenhouse. See, I don't know why I call him Rittenberg. Pretty much was aspiring to want to be in law enforcement. And he wanted to protect and serve. I don't know what kind of protecting and serving that he was going to be doing, but this is very interesting. Was inspired. He was inspired, and let's go and get into it because there's a lot to break down in this show.
Yeah, yes.
Let's go ahead and get into this. So the first thing about it is this. Kenosha shooting suspect was in the front row of a Trump rally in January. The law enforcement obsessed 17-year-old who was charged with shooting, killing 2 people and injuring another in Kenosha, Wisconsin during protests for Jacob Blake appeared in front of row of Donald Trump rally in January. Kyle Howard Rittenhouse social media presence is filled with him posing with weapons, posting Blue Lives Matter and supporting Trump, and president footage from those of Des Moines, Iowa rally in January 30th shows Rittenhouse feet away from the president. In the front row, in the left of the podium, he posted in TikTok video event. Now, this is the interesting thing about that, because now we're also trying to figure out now, and this is going to definitely hurt the Republicans. This will really hurt them, Michelle, because seeing that it's going to come off as he was inspired, that he felt that it was his God-given duty to protect America. You understand what this is going to go out to? Yes. That he was only conserving and protecting a way of life. 7 months later, Rittenhouse went with his rifle to the third night of a Black Lives Matter protest in Kenosha after police shot Blake, a black man who is now paralyzed. As a result of, according to his family, Rittenhouse attended as an armed vigilante. According to his family. You hear that, right? His family is saying that. Mm-hmm. Rittenhouse attended as an armed vigilante, supposedly assisting police. So he went there to go assist the police.
Without their permission. Huh? The sheriff, a group had asked the sheriff to deputize them. And she said she had refused to deputize any of the so-called volunteer militia because she knew nothing about their background or their training, and she didn't want to put the county in that libelous situation.
So what we have going on are people are trying to go.
That they were not needed.
Now, hold on about this, Michelle. Because we're hearing some people saying that these militias are needed. That they're needed to protect these cities. They're not trained. They don't go by the ordinance of the law. We don't know what's their backgrounds. We don't know what's their intent. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But in their ideology, they are doing a service to the cities by going there armed for whenever there's a protest or whatever to go deliver justice. Is this the Constitution? Are we still with the Constitution so far? Because they're going out there as the patriots. Okay? We saw this in a lot of different states now. Now it's coming full circle. Supposedly assisting police and protecting property in an unofficial capacity. Instead of he allegedly proud to protect with a gun. Videos captured him.
This most award-winning premium American whiskey looks like the world is falling in love.
Keep talking.
There you go. So after that, he went around fraternizing with the law enforcement and attempting to get their attention. Now, this is very interesting. Why didn't law enforcement detain this young man and send him home? Ask yourself that question. For all of those, I would ask, why didn't law enforcement detain him and send him home? I believe if my child was out there, I would want the shell to jack my kid up and say, "Yo, get in this car. We got to contact your parents." Why did law enforcement not do their job and send him home?
Why didn't law enforcement ID this baby-faced kid walking around with a gun when it was illegal for him to be doing that?
Openly. Granted, I mean, the sheriff already issued out that they didn't want them there. Right? You said that. And that was also brought up that the sheriff even said that she did not want nobody. She said, "Listen, y'all militia, I don't want you there. We don't got." The governor said we don't want any more problems. I believe the governor said that also. We don't need any more problems.
I just sent you the link from where the
I'm on it right now, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to it. Let's get to that. They were preoccupied with Black Lives Matter rioters. Where was the riot? There was no riots going on that night. I mean, you got to show me where was their riot. The show, were they rioting that night?
Mm-mm.
There was no riot. See, so SKC, you got to show me where was the riots at that night. See, don't just say BLM and riot. You got to tell me where there was a riot, but there was no riots going on. That's the thing about it. If you're gonna say BLM, please show me where there was riots that night. Let's not put out false information. I want.
Joe, can you hear me? Joe, let me exit out and come back.
There you go. Do apologize about that. We're going through a storm. Do apologize about that. We're going through a storm. Somebody, and let me just go ahead and read the chat. It's frozen, so it's all good. It's just that we're going through a storm. You already know about the storm that's happening. Let me go ahead and pull up everything I do have. I have to go redo that. That really irks my nerve. I have to go grab Nichelle. But one of the things about it, people bring up to my attention is that literally he's a hero. He's a savior. Somebody even says, "Go Kyle." Kyle was not shooting black people. He was shooting people. I don't understand. So are y'all praising a killer? I'll be curious about that. So Kyle is a hero. Okay, so I'm glad to hear that people say Kyle is a hero. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and grab these things for y'all real quick. Let me go ahead and grab Michelle. I think she dropped off just a little bit. Because if Kyle is a hero, that means we're praising people in the US who go around killing people. I want you to understand that logic, that people see him as a hero, a dysfunction. And I mean, if that's what people are for, then I don't understand the meaning to that. Are people prone to violence? Let me go ahead and make sure Michelle gets her stuff. No, it wasn't your phone. We just got to go ahead and get this stuff squared away. It was just that it was a froze up on both people's ends. I think she's trying to get back in. Yeah, she's trying to get back. So let me go ahead and get everything going for y'all. I do apologize about that. Let me go ahead and put this stuff up. I'm really irritated about that because I literally had all the stuff. But it's a good thing. That's why I go to the description and I make sure I put up all the sources of everything. So that way I can easily see what I'm saying? This is why you always leave the sources. But if you're actually about your work, you can actually just go ahead and you can pull up these kind of things. So there we go. Oh wow, they actually lived there. So there we go. He says these people were burning down cities, killing people, and the people he killed in self-defense were a pedophile, B, a repeat domestic abuser, and C, a convicted felon with a gun. I'm trying to figure out where y'all getting all the information from. And if that's the case, should Kyle have been out there? Because Kyle had a record. Why is nobody talking about Kyle's record? Did y'all know that Kyle had a record? Did y'all know that he literally had issues with the law? But it's okay so long as he was out there doing it. When we talk about the Constitution, what part of the Constitution was he following? What was he doing that was a service to the people? If literally the sheriff said, we don't want you there, how was he a hero if the sheriff said, don't come here, you're going to cause more problems? How was that preserving life? Let me go ahead and pull up this article. I mean, it's very interesting that people are saying that what he did was so stoic and heroic. Michelle, I got you back, babe. So, hello, you there, Michelle?
I'm here.
So we're having people saying that he's a hero, and it's fine, and they're entitled to their opinion, as well as they're saying that he, was taking down people that were a pedophile, a felon, and a domestic abuser. Since when do civilians start dishing out the law, especially those who have their own prior background? Is this where the Constitution has gone now? Where we're praising people to go around shooting people in the face?
I mean, we have to think about our whole system of due process and the judicial system. Now, if these men were out on the street and they had these type of charges leveled against them, they'd serve their time. How is the public allowed to take that into consideration, that a 17-year-old boy who didn't know their background had a right to kill them? None of the crimes we're talking about involved death penalty offenses.
Right. Speak on it. I know what I mean. That's so true. Where anything that these people trying to name about him. I like to just pull up one guy. He said, he said these people were burning down cities, killing people, and the people he killed in self-defense were A, pedophile, B, a repeat domestic abuser, and C, a convicted felon with a gun. What do we call that? What is that? That comfort food?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, comfort food. So that way you empathize with the person, even though you know you did something wrong. And the people he killed in self-defense were you tell your so a abuser and C, a convicted felon with a gun. Hang on, I'm letting the show get there. So we used to tell each other. What do we call that? What is that? I'm gonna help you out on the show while you're getting that square. So we used to tell each other in the military, even though we felt like we did something screwed up, hey man, them people were terrorists. Them people were bad people. They were gonna blow up a building anyway. You see, when you say that, you're trying to detach their humanity from what you did. Do you understand what I'm saying, Michelle? You're trying to detach them from being a human.
There are a lot of people out there that crave ignorance. They crave blissful ignorance. And if there's any type of comfort food out there that'll feed their ignorance, they're taking it. Because if they can see these people as less than human, then the Constitution doesn't apply. They are not entitled to due process. They're not entitled to equal protection. They're not entitled to be free from unreasonable seizures. They're not entitled to be free of cruel and unusual punishment. You can do anything you want to them once we deem them less than human. That's why they call them Marxists. That's why they call them thugs. That's why they call them criminals, although they have served their time. Everything is about dehumanizing the victim.
Now, the reason why I try to tell, especially minorities or just Americans in general, why to be careful of when you play the name game of how you try to dehumanize people. Because the same way when you're starting to dehumanize them, it removes your humanity of when it falls back on you. See, that's why you've grown numb. Well, this black guy got shot. Well, Chicago, see how you just did that? I said somebody got killed without due process. You brought up a city that had nothing to do with that. We're talking about doggone Miami, Florida. You just brought up Chicago. What about the killings in Chicago? Wait, did you just do that? So you'll bring up a city for any time somebody says something. You've seen that in the show, right?
That's called deflection, because they don't want to have a real conversation. Because if they ask me, what about Chicago? What about the killing in Chicago? Don't you care about Chicago? I will tell you, yes, I also care about the fact that only 1 out of every 5 murder is solved in Chicago. So if I lived in Chicago, the chances of me calling the police if I thought my cousin had gotten killed would be slim to none. My chances of calling Ray Ray to say, yo, do you not understand that our cousin just got killed? We need to take matters in our own hand, because our lives don't matter to the police. They're not going to even investigate it. Now, I love how people sit up there and say, well, all these people got killed and it was obviously black on black crime. I thought you said the witnesses were not cooperating with the police. Get your story straight. Did this guy get killed by a black man? Was he 5'7", 5'11"? Tell me some details. You can tell me that the police had to apprehend the suspect. Do not tell me that people are not cooperating with the police, but then turn right around and say, well, the suspect is black.
Now,
is that the only detail you got?
Well,
so that's, if you want to talk about Chicago, let's talk about the Hatfield and McCoys. Since you want to talk about Chicago, what happened with the Hatfield and McCoy? They got into conflict because there was no police accountability. They had to eventually settle the squabble because I kill your brother, you kill my brother, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Why is it that they never bring
the violence in Chicago has escalated? Yeah, it escalated in Chicago when there was mafia as well.
Right. I'm
gonna exit and come back out because I lost sound again.
Okay, but I noticed that never happens. I always hear about the black on black, but I never hear about the mafia wars that span for generations, where they were literally doing embezzlement, banks, frauds, robberies, killings, and all that stuff. What's up, Mo? What's going on? Shout out to Mo Reese Dope. I always hear about people bring up Chicago, but they never talk about the mafia. Granted, the mafia is now literally embedded in the U.S. government. They're inside the system now. And I mean, this is literally documented proof. And I'll be willing to ask people because literally everybody brings up about Black Lives Matter. No. But nobody ever talks about that. Now, let's go ahead because everybody's saying Kyle Rittenhouse was a savior to the Constitution. He saved that. Now, let's find out what the police say first, okay? So, going over here, sheriff said, oh, hell no. Kenosha sheriff said vigilante group asked him to deputize them. So, I want you to understand that. The sheriff, if they were so welcome, they asked to be armed citizens have been taking to the streets of Kenosha. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of people notice this, but a lot of gun-toting, happy-go, God-fearing patriots have been going around and antagonizing protesters. Why is nobody talking about that? Why is nobody talking about people going around antagonizing protesters? What part of antagonizing and pointing guns at people is that in the Constitution? Is that in your civil rights? Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna show the footage of people laughing about pointing guns at people, calling them N-words. I know those stories don't come out, but I know the stories about Black Lives Matter, they're terrorists, white supremacist group, Andrew Carnegie, Illuminati. But nobody ever talks about when people are going around antagonizing people with guns. Armed citizens have been taking to the streets of Kenosha during unrest in the city, following the police shooting of Jacob Blake, and some have been asked the county sheriff to deputize them, says the sheriff David Beth. Beth, speaking during a press conference Wednesday, said that he declined to do so, noting that if he did, those members would become a liability to me, the county, and the state of Wisconsin. There's no way I would deputize people, he said. Beth, who said his initial response was, oh, hell no, added that such group don't actually help the police. So why are people going around saying Kyle is a hero if the police saying these people are some of the worst people to have around during a protest? You're talking to somebody who's been to like protests. Why are people going around trying to trigger people? And it's on both sides. But I hate when people try to play footage and then edit it out to make it seem like they're playing victim. I hate when people try to trigger people to try to get them so that way they can get some kind of views, so that way they can get some kind of talking points. They'll go to different states to where it has nothing to do with their state, their grassroots. They'll go to other places just to fuck with other people. But that's part of the Constitution. You're doing your God-given right and your duty. You're doing your God-blessed right. That sounds like when people were marching for civil rights. I'm sure those people who were doing their constitutional duty while they were marching to throw rocks, spit, fuck with them. But then after a while, see, there were people rioting during King. There were people rioting. Part of the problem with the group, if they create confrontation, he said, people walking around with guns. If I walk in my uniform with a gun, all of you probably wouldn't be too intimidated by it because you're used to officers having guns. But if I put out my wife with an AR-15 or my brother with a shotgun or whatever it would be walking through the streets, you guys would probably be wondering what the heck was going on. Oh, wait. So you got a little white kid, a Dylan Roof motherfucker, walking around antagonizing people. If you would like to come up, Mo, you are welcome to come up. You're welcome to come up. But literally you have it where the sheriff said he does not want nobody to be there. I would like to know what about that? Because honestly, if anything, Kyle Rittenhouse could possibly be the reason why the conservatives will probably lose the vote. Kyle Rittenhouse is most likely the reason why they probably definitely want Trump out. Am I lying what I'm saying? Just let me know if I'm off what I'm saying, the show. Because you got a lot of conservatives praising him. I'm trying to figure out, y'all do know he wasn't shooting black people. He was shooting a bunch of white people. So do they even know who they're shooting at anymore? Like, I mean, the AR-15 thing is already an issue. Now you got it where you got kids going out there shooting with guns. Then aren't y'all having enough with the kids shooting with guns thing going on? Tell me where in the Bible was Jesus going around with an AR? Where was he doing that? Tell me, when it comes to conservatism, what happened to preserving life? Why are you going around with a gun? I ain't gonna lie, I feel more safe going to a gay parade. I ain't gotta worry about nobody capping me there. But that was constitutional rights, huh? Oh, he felt empowered. He felt emboldened. Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't a hero. Kyle Rittenhouse was a up-and-coming terrorist. That's all he was. That's all he was. He was an up-and-coming terrorist. We have Renaissance Man from the Black Brain Trust. But no matter what, it literally went off the derail. Now, we're speaking onto the Constitution about the issues of stuff that literally transpired. And I know we have to go through the video of stuff. Nichelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was reading a case real quick.
Okay, now I know you sent me something. I'm gonna let Renaissance Man weigh in from the Black Brain Trust. Go ahead, Renaissance Man. You hear everything that's been going on. I know you're just now getting the information now that the sheriff himself said he did not want the militia there. but literally people are praising this guy like he came there and did a service for that city. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, who is the sheriff? Is the sheriff speaking? Because I was going to say, remember, they have the video where they're interacting with the National Guard, and they're like, we appreciate y'all being there. So is the sheriff just trying to say, oh, well, that's the National Guard, that's not me, we didn't want them there? Because they didn't act like they didn't want them there. They were acting like, hey, you're doing us a favor. So, and then I was going to add to BMT. I heard you say this could hurt Trump. See, with some people, this is going to help him, because like he's already got a GoFundMe up for like people trying to fund his legal defense. So you got some people who are like gung ho and like, it's going to incite some other people. It's going to turn off some people, but it's going to incite some other people to be like, yeah, that's what we need to go do. And never mind the fact this kid came from a neighboring county. He's not even from that city. So you can't even make the argument you're defending your property. People normally call these people outside agitators. Go ahead, Michelle.
There is, in the Republican Party, a rift. Now, all the nouveau conservatives that are on Facebook spread outright lies. They don't know about the split. They don't understand the split. That we have what is called libertarians. We have the Country Club Republicans. We have the Tea Party True Patriots, whatever they're calling themselves now. The problem is when was the last time a libertarian or a Tea Party activist actually got elected?
I mean, the only prominent libertarian who's ever been elected is really Rand, Ron Paul, and Justin Amash in Michigan. Those are the only three I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Now we literally have it where, and this blows. I ain't never seen. I'm surprised they couldn't get a GoFundMe for Dylan Roof. Oh wait, they tried that too. See, this is why it's like, yo, man, it's getting hard for me to want to stand by people nowadays. Literally, they had a GoFundMe for George Zimmerman. They had the GoFundMe for this guy here. It seems like everybody who kills a black kid or a black guy, they always get a GoFundMe. This amazes me when y'all say y'all don't see race or racism or any issues of systemic oppression. But I'm like, how the hell are they getting GoFundMes? Like, but y'all complain when Jacob Blake gets a GoFundMe, but this kid literally shot like people and he's getting a GoFundMe. Like, is nobody seeing the issue with this? Like, I can't, man. Like, I can't. We can't even make this up anymore, man.
And like I said, I'm blown away. People just completely overlooked the fact that you crossed lines with a gun, crossed state lines with a gun. You were underage. You were out past the curfew, and you were shot at someone. You killed three people, and people gonna give you a GoFundMe. And after you did all that, the police walked right past you. I'm like, let that have been someone black just walking around out there. Police would have came and approached them.
But do you know that there are black people on Facebook? I'm sorry, black people on Facebook that are giving out the best comfort food. They said, I'd have been afraid. I'd have been afraid if I saw a black man with a gun. Corey Hughes, can we go ahead and say Corey Hughes in Dallas, Texas? They had a manhunt for that man because somebody had seen him with a gun, with a rifle at a rally. The rifle was unloaded. The rifle had been turned into the police as soon as the shots were heard. But they had a manhunt on, oh, you guys, we saw a black man with a gun.
Like, here's the thing about it. So the GoFundMe, because he was protecting their constitution. A team says, and this is a team from Texas, Texas Legal Foundation. The show, y'all gonna have a hard time getting me to move to Texas because literally a Texas Legal Foundation is planning to help defend Kyle Rittenhouse and will accept donations after GoFundMe took down fundraiser. Because the GoFundMe took, they said, oh hell no, we can't support this guy. A legal team says it will defend Kyle Rittenhouse charged in a fatal shooting during protests in Kenosha this week and has set up a fund for the 17-year-old legal fees. Rittenhouse of Antioch, Illinois, has been charged with multiple counts of including first-degree intentional homicide in the shooting that killed 2 people and injured a third. Video, let's see, blah, blah, blah. How much would they already give? The Texas Comptroller of Public Account, and these are also the stuff he has. If you want to look it up, lawyer L. Linwood said he helped form the foundation with a mission to protect and defend our Constitution on many fronts.
BMT, you got a mod that's supporting this?
Huh?
You got a mod who's supporting Kyle?
Hey, they all come from different walks of life. They all come from
wow. I just want to hear his defense because I haven't gotten on a panel with someone who real deal just said, "Hey, this was okay."
Maurice is always welcome to come up, and he's Maurice Duck and the Maurice Duck channel. I know they support Kyle over there. I don't at all. I don't at all. I'm independent. I'm not even a Republic. I'm just independent now. I'm not even that now. I'm just BMT. Kyle's defense is one of those fronts, Wood said in an email. Wood is nationally prominent defamation lawyer who helped a Covington Catholic high school student sue CNN, the Washington Post, and other media companies in 2010, alleged vicious and direct attacks. The teen had been thrust into a national spotlight. Oh, you remember that incident that happened in the show with the boy and the Native Americans and shit? This is the guy. Yeah. Wow. Hey. Oh, man. Kyle, you're going to get a whole lawyer team, boy. Gee, man, they must have sounded the Thundercat, Transformers, Trigon, Galacticon horn for you, man. Who do we have? Al Sharpton? Jesse? Do we have anybody this good?
We got the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
I mean, goddamn it. We need a real team, man. So they already set up for him because he's defending the Constitution. Wood said that John Pierce will lead the defense team. I don't even know. This is probably all Michelle's friends that you see every other day at the yacht. The lawyer said the Fight Back Foundation is the only approved fund for Rittenhouse legal fees. Please be wary of any other efforts to raise money for Kyle's defense. Wood said other fundraisers have begun popping up online in support of Rittenhouse. One fundraiser on a Christian crowdfunding website called Give, Send, Go raised more than $65,000 as of Thursday evening. That means the kid shot on Wednesday got $65,000 on Thursday. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh, my Lord. Who can get... God, do white people have money just waiting for these things?
I was going to ask that question myself.
How are we supposed to beat this? Yo, I'm just like, just throw the whole nation away at this point. How do you beat that? They literally raised $65,000 before the next, it wasn't even full 24 hours and already hit $65,000. People have donated $77,460 to the team through a site called Free Kyle Rittenhouse. Another fundraiser has been stated on Fundly, but have raised less than $550 combined as of Thursday evening. Yo, if y'all can't tell me there's something wrong, I don't tell you, man. A GoFundMe for Jacob Blake.
Wait a minute. I want y'all to remember one thing. This guy's first name is Lucian Lincoln Wood Jr. He calls himself the attorney for the damned.
Oh, God. God damn it. He's a whole... God damn, what kind of power are we dealing with? Like, I mean, what kind of power are we? Like, I mean, it's gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be hard to deal with this, man. I just don't know, man. I really don't know how we're gonna deal with this in the show because let's see, Jimmy. I don't know who Jimmy the Great is. Jimmy the Great. I stand with Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Jimmy, what's going on, man? You said you stand with Kyle. Jimmy,
you're on mute.
About this one.
Huh?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, can
Hey,
you...
welcome. Yeah, you're a little bit broken up, but
okay.
We can hear you. Welcome to the BMT show. Come on, go ahead and talk. What's up, brother?
Hello. So this...
Your speaking is a little bit distorted. Can anybody hear him?
Nah, I can't hear him. He borged out.
You're a little bit borged out. Jimmy, just come back in. Come back in, okay? I'll put down the link for you so that way we can have the discussion. Because I would like to talk with people. Me and the show would like to talk with people on the feeling of how is he defending the Constitution? And what part of the Constitution was he defending that was in danger? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out, because if law enforcement said don't come and he's literally outside of his jurisdiction, they already have put up everything of a watch alert, like, hey, like, we don't want, because seeing civilians walk around with guns, that's not like the most enticing feeling, you know? So we're trying to figure out like how's that I feel. And like I said, we're willing, like I said, I'm a conservative. The show's a conservative. We're just having a mutual ground conversation. The show, you be dropping me all these gems there.
I will say this, BMT. This whole scenario shows just sort of people should know it already, but I don't see how these black conservatives don't see it. That just the mentality of some of these far right-wing groups. Because if they'll kill 2-3 white people like that, what are they gonna do to black folks? Something like that jump off. You know, they are just itching to just go and shoot you, and it'll just be fun to them. And that's why I'm like, I don't think some of these dudes get it when they say I'm a Trump supporter and I support these people, and I don't literally think they get like that's the mentality you're supporting. People who will shoot you in a minute if they get the chance and think they can get away with it. And then people will put up money for a GoFundMe.
I'm very amazed. Okay. Jimmy, you can always come back up, man. You can always come back up. Like I said, these are the conversations that me and the show, we have these, but just not always on my channel. We have these, like I said, if y'all really knew the stuff that we be talking about, trust and believe, we would have to get paid by some goddamn broadcasting channel for the stuff that we talk to people about. They are very well open. Like I mean, so I'm very adept to having the conversation, shows the show. And again, this is nothing new, because we've heard some people say that, hey, he was defending the Constitution and making sure that the rioters do not attack. Go ahead, Jimmy. Jimmy the Great, you have the floor. Go ahead. I think he just muted. Okay. I'll let him whenever he's getting that going. Now, Nichelle, we just had it where a lawyer said that I told you, Kyle is the savior of the U.S. Constitution. Why is it that people are seeing him as the savior of the Constitution? What did he do that he is saving the Constitution?
Because these people. Okay, let's break it down to what you have going on in the United States. Okay, prior to the 26th Amendment, the majority of white people could not vote because of poll taxes. The majority of white people could not vote because of poll taxes. So when you sit up there and you say, well, the Southern Democrat, large groups of white people with less economic means were not the norm for voting in the South until they passed the 26th Amendment in 1964. So all of a sudden, you now have the Republicans and the Democrats fighting for these newly franchised white voters. The Democrats realized that there were a lot of African Americans in the South. They had been voting. If they had to go to church, churches were collecting money to get Black people out to vote. The distinction comes in when we get to 1967 and we have all of these civil rights cases going through the court system where people who had been out protesting had been beaten and clubbed by the police, and there were videos of it. So all of a sudden, you have this painting of the Democrats as being violent. Meanwhile, the reason the Democrats ran the South is because no Republicans were down there to run. So all of a sudden, the Supreme Court decides, wait a minute, we can't be having the government held responsible for violating people's constitutional rights. People, use some common sense. Only the government, only someone who works for the government can violate your constitutional rights. So by the time we get to now, when you have a resurgence of people feeling like, well, we've been giving Black people stuff for the last 50 years. Ain't nothing we got that y'all didn't get to. Okay, stop. But we feel like we've lost out so much. The civil rights movement took away so much. Nobody's out there representing white people. Why don't we have a white entertainment television network? I told them, so you have CBS, Caucasian Broadcasting Station.
You do. They do.
I literally had a teacher in school who said that. Why isn't there a white entertainment? I'm like, is this lady serious?
And so I've been a Republican for longer than I want to admit. I come from a family of Republicans, not conservatives, because I recognize that within the Republican Party, I may lean a little bit toward the libertarian, get government out of everything and let us do it our own selves. You have the right to discriminate if you want to. No. Keep your beliefs to yourself, okay? Keep your belief in your hands to yourself. So I don't go that far. When they say taxed enough already, hell yeah, taxed and cited enough. The police are now, their job is no longer to serve and protect. As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court said police have no duty to protect you. There's no constitutional right to police protection. That involved a white lady who had a restraining order out, a protective order out against her husband. Police were called, and they stood there and watched him beat her senseless until she was paralyzed. And she sued the police for not doing their job. And they said that's not their job. They have the discretion to intervene if they want. Huh?
Don't they take an oath, though? Because they were talking about, like, when Atlanta had the blue flu, they were saying, well, people took oath to be police officers, this and that.
Yeah, that oath is getting kind of questionable right about now.
Yeah, that oath, I mean, it wasn't that much lately. That oath is questionable nowadays. I wouldn't depend on their oath.
Yeah, let's not depend on that oath, because right now, if you look at what most police departments are doing, they have a duty to serve and collect. That most of these municipalities have all of these ordinances. Oh my goodness, the tile on your window is a little bit too dark. That'll be $300. Oh, you don't have a. Sorry about that, people. You have police departments that sit up there. I'm sorry. Police departments that sit up there and know what?
No. I'm saying.
What were you saying?
The question that we want to ask and go about. Because somebody brings up something that they said, are you guys afraid? But you have the guts the guns. You have the guns. Don't have conflict resolution. When it comes to normal law-abiding black people, or for innocent kids that get killed by other blacks, we're not deflecting from that. The issue is this: is Constitution. Right is right, wrong is wrong. We're not trying to defend
Well,
any. We're looking at it of the Constitution. Go ahead. We have Rob B up here for a while. And I know I have Jimmy. Go ahead, Robbie.
I was gonna say this, like, we all have inalienable rights because of the Constitution, but with great power comes great responsibility. You have the right to the freedom of speech, but you must be careful what you say. You have the right to bear arms, but you must be careful how you handle your firearms. Just because you have the right to do X, Y, and Z does not mean that you should. You must also have discernment and responsibility because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this is a situation where someone wanted to flex out on their rights, but it wasn't the right time or the right place to do so. At the end of the day, what is going on right now in America is they are creating situations in which martial law is going to be instituted. Once martial law is instituted, all of these rights that everybody thinks that they have are going to be out of the window because you are going to be in a government run police state. Everything you think you're able to do, you're not going to be able to do. And we have to be thinking about that when we're making these protests and we're rioting and we're looting. We have to look at the bigger picture, not just the instant gratification of it all.
Now,
Can I say something?
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So, this is to before when we were talking about Kyle. So, nobody talks about this. He was offered by an organization that was connected to the Kenosha Police Department to be sent down there to protect the businesses so the National Guard can have time to get their asses together and get there. Another thing is that a church burnt down, $50,000 worth of items to keep kids out of gang violence and stuff got looted, and along with that, a family got killed and burned to death. Along with that, 4 other people got shot, and the media won't say shit about this because it doesn't align with their narrative. So
You just meet it. So let's get at that. I'm glad, and thank you for bringing that up. So when it comes to handling that, and I hear what you're saying, that would have been the job of the police. Telling you straight up.
police are not that big.
Wait,
They're small down there. I live 35 minutes away from there.
Okay.
You had National Guard coming too.
Yeah, National Guard. Like, hiring a child. Like, we're not in the Congo. You can't hire a child.
He was part of a militia. He wasn't. Blame the militia down in Illinois if you want to blame anyone.
Well, okay. So go ahead.
Now I was just going to quickly say he's underage too. That's the thing everyone's missing. He's underage.
No, we're not.
Because here's the thing about it, and no, you bring up some interesting points, Jimmy. Once the police say that you are not allowed to be here, once the police say you're not allowed to be here, the sheriff came out and said, "I didn't give you authorization to be here." That was it. It didn't matter who.
Another thing, Tony Evers. You didn't hear this from the news, but Tony Evers and the DA said they didn't want the National Guard to be down there. They wanted the city to burn. And the police, the Kenosha police, talked to Trump and said, "We need your help." And the Kenosha police were overthrown from Tony Evers, so they did come in and came. That's the whole reason. No one's talking about that either.
Okay, Jimmy, could you send me the information that you're pulling this from?
I mean, it's amazing to me that so many people
try.
have recorded conversations. They have recorded conversations. I know what it takes to get a 911 call released. And it's not like a 911 call is, oh, yeah, let me just go to their website. There's a 911 call for 8 o'clock at this address. I can just pull it up.
Yeah, I'm always curious. I'm always curious where people are getting the information from. It's like I'm not saying that you're wrong, but let's go over to what we were seeing happen. Let's go over to one clip first. So,
because I was going to say, doesn't the governor have to activate the National Guard? That's not something Trump can do. Trump can send in federal troops, correct?
That's what I'm saying. The governor, the governor did two things on Monday. The governor did Google it. I will find it in a second. The governor issued and called an emergency session on Monday to deal with police brutality, and then he sent in the National Guard to assist the police. Those are the two things the governor did on Monday. So all this conjecture that Trump sent in some troops to help out and the governor was doing nothing, he wanted the city to burn. That's his tax revenue base, people. Come on. These Democrats are not that dumb. I mean, first of all, before we start talking to conservatives that want to talk about Marxism and socialism.
I never said Marxism or socialism. I just said.
We're not talking about you. We're bringing up the fact that, one, this is the issue, right? We're seeing these guys right here. You don't have no badge, no identification, no type of accountability at all. This is not something with Call of Duty, Fortnite, where people just say, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead. Rounds have to be accounted for.
Wait, BMT or Nichelle, if you do get deputized, how do you display that? Because what stops someone from just running around saying, "Hey, I'm deputized"? Like, don't you have to have some?
Yes, they'll actually issue you a badge. They actually have a deputy badge.
I've been deputized before. They give you a badge. Your name is literally on the list. You literally have your rifle or your sidearm actually written down. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't gonna just say, "All right, everybody, here you go. You get a badge. You get a badge. You get a badge."
No, it doesn't work like that.
Dude, they literally say, "Okay, who's so and so?" They run a background check on you guys. They're gonna run a check on you. We're not giving the town rapist a badge so that way he can go have his fun. No, we're gonna know who the hell it is.
And I was gonna say, are you gonna have to wear a uniform? Because even if I see someone come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm deputized," and you're not in any sort of uniform, I'm gonna be like,
"Well, the thing about it is, it does
depend because I've seen manhunts where they were looking for, lost children or such, and they may just give you a T-shirt. It depends on how fast they have to operate and deputize. But they do give you some kind of markings.
I remember when a boy went missing, and we had they said, "Listen, y'all, we got at least about 24 hours to find this kid." Actually, less than that. Everybody who has a hunting dog, they were called for those who had trucks, flashlights or whatever. If you knew the area, we wanted you to be out there. They did not have kids out there. You had to be a certain age. And after that, we got to work. We started fanning out men and women, and literally we had certain controlled groups that even the police officers were occupying it. So if you had 3 people, for every 3 people, there was an officer with y'all. You understand? So that way, 3, there's an officer. For another 3, there's another officer. Like, we weren't just, it literally, or you had a veteran military or somebody. But what was going on, and I'm going to showcase the video, which we're looking at right now. And I don't think I'm not sure if y'all really need sound for this. Y'all could probably just, again, Constitution, right here. We got people out here. We got protesters right there trying to talk to them. People with shotguns, there's Kyle. He's getting pulled back. See, why? What are they doing? They're going around with guns, and the people are asking, now, show me where's the violence. Show me the people that have guns or anything that are protesters with guns. You might see cell phones. You see backpack. Majority of these people are, guess what? College kids. Most of these are goddamn workers, like people that work at dollar stores and stuff. Where is the threat? Now, this is the video of you're seeing antagonizing going on. Because literally they're telling them, hey, like, We're not supposed to be doing it. How is that helping the problem? They're not helping. What is this about the Constitution that's helping the problem?
Can't that be considered a crime? Like if someone just a group of people just literally, if you're just out there and a group of people just approach you with firearms like that, that just doesn't seem like that seem like an act of intimidation.
In this state, you're allowed to walk around with. If you want to walk around with your gun, you can. It's legal.
If you're over,
it's not illegal.
18. If you are over the age of 18.
So why are there kids out there? I mean,
because everyone is scared in their homes, staying inside because of either COVID or these protesters burning buildings and their businesses. Even businesses that aren't even connected to the police station, they're burning. Like, they burned down a furniture store. Why the hell would you burn down a furniture store?
Shout out to Ghost. I've been deputized time for a Million Man March, and I got a badge. Thank you. See, like I said, I've been deputized also. The thing about it, if people were scared, they wouldn't have you out there. They literally would not have you. They wouldn't have had you out there. Another issue is, again, you're antagonizing. If the tension, it's like the Mississippi burning. If you're there to antagonize, the governor, since the Jacob incident, already contacted the National Guard. He made that nationally known. That's not even a mystery. So I don't know what the DA thing came about, because the governor contacted the National Guard. Once in the National Guard, and mind you, I worked as an AG at the National Guard. So what has to happen is the National Guard, I want y'all to understand, those are civilians that literally live in that town. Okay? So you call the civilians to get into their uniform, no matter what day and night it is, men and women, and literally they get put out at strategic points to where it's a hotbed. Okay? Now, if they're trying to beat down one fire that's already happening with the police, why would you send in another unknown group to actually handle the fire? I'm just asking that you understand what I'm saying about the Constitution? Like, I can only hold the people that are on my payroll accountable. But if you show up on my work site and start working and picking up a shovel, how can I hold you accountable? You might be going against the blueprint that we got going on. We might have something going on. Okay, I get that. The city can step in and fix those businesses and take care of that. This other stuff, you go home back to your state. That's it. Nothing happens to you. Like, is this what I got to
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
All these BLM protesters, Antifa protesters, are all from out of state. It's been proven in multiple videos. It's been proven by the people themselves they've been out of state. And another thing, let's just put another $1 billion into BLM and Antifa. So that's another thing we should be worried about, because that guy is putting in big dollars into that group. I hate to be a terrorist group, but they don't look like terrorists. But behind the scenes, when the media doesn't show it, they're burning down and killing each other and killing other people. I just don't get it.
So is it okay for Kyle to come from out of state then? If we don't want any outside, no, I don't even say terrorist group. I just figure it sounds like people don't want outsiders coming in.
The thing with the people who have said that they want these people out here, the people that did support BLM after their business got burned. Just like that one lady, I think she was in Portland or Seattle, one of the two. She started to see what BLM was doing, and they all huddled and started crowding her and say, "You stand with BLM, you stand with BLM, you stupid." And like, it was like a big national thing. I watch a lot of videos, so I can send you the links when I have time.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. Like,
I'm
here's the
gonna
thing.
ask a question.
Go ahead.
I need to ask a very important question here. Anthony Herber, 26-year-old man killed in Kenosha. My understanding, he lived there. He lived there. The 33-year-old man, bald man, I can't find his name, but he had just moved from Texas. He lived there. So we're sitting up here saying that two men who actually lived in that town, that cared about the police, they were killed by someone from another state. And people are painting this picture like these guys were scum, they were low lives. They probably didn't even live there. They did live there. They were out.
Yeah, agreeable.
They had seen their city. So that's the only point I wanted to make, Joe.
Okay. Now, he's a proud American hero. He's out on bail. Jesus Christ. Thank you.
I got another.
No, thank you for that information. Now,
he's out on bail?
Yeah, he's out on bail. Why are we even surprised? Why are we surprised?
You killed what two people, and isn't one person still in the hospital or something?
Yeah.
I got another thing to say. With these places, when they burn these certain places, I have a feeling that Kenosha is going to turn into gang violence, drug addiction, and homelessness up the roof. Because that's the same thing that happened in Portland. That's the same thing that happened in Austin. No joke, Austin, all you can find is homeless people and drug addicts all around.
Isn't that, I mean, I thought you would name it Ohio at some point. I thought you were talking about Ohio. That sounded like Ohio.
I'm not sure, though. Like I said, them burning down the church and them taking away children, burning down and looting children's, that proves a point that they want these kids to turn into, the only thing they have to turn to is gang violence. That's another thing. Why those churches and those, there was a video game store that got robbed and all their stuff was gone. It was not like a store. It was more so like a cafe for lower income families to go in. It was like a Boys and Girls Club kind of thing, if you know what those are.
Okay,
yeah, that place got robbed from all its supplies, all its items, over $50,000 worth of stuff, all because in the Black Lives Matter, and they also painted BLM on a graveyard and started destroying a graveyard too.
Okay, now let me go ahead for us, and I thank you guys for going ahead and helping weighing in. Thanks for Jimmy, Robbie, Renaissance of the Black Brain Trust. I'm thankful for Nichelle as always. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my arms, and going over the law and everything. And like I said, we're here to have the conversation out of respect. What we have right here is the video. We have a video of the authority with the militia. Because honestly, if I was those three guys or the people who were getting shot at, I'm going to sue the state for fraternizing with these people. I would think that would be fair. I would sue the state. I would countersue them for fraternizing with these people. Because literally, you allow these people into our state that had nothing to do with them to do what they did. That's literally like me, the military, allowing Blackwater to do whatever they did. Now we got to pay for it. So hang on, let me go ahead and play this video. Hang on, Jimmy.
Like I said, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me play this real quick.
Okay.
Hang on, Jimmy, let me play this.
Hearing.
Can y'all hear it? Hang on, let me replay it again. I gotta go get that for y'all. I think we got it. All right, there we go. I'm gonna try that. I don't know why the sound is not syncing up. I think I probably had it off.
Yeah, no laser pointers either. No laser pointers. They think that's guns too. That's what started most of it.
So they're talking about don't point lasers on their gun at people.
Hey, thank you guys. Need water. That's far right. You need water. We'll throw you one.
Thank you. All right, guys, let's get out of here.
You're all right. We'll give you a couple. Thank you. Yes, you. You are a civilian. This area is close to us. You're trespassing. Leave. Leave now. We got a couple. We got to save a couple, but we'll give you a couple. We appreciate you guys. We really do.
Wow.
Can we go this way? Can we walk this way? Hold on. I need a step. I'm sure they have a lot of bottles of water.
That's all we can spare.
Nice truck,
You're going to have to get out of there. You're just the last warning. You're going to have to move south or you're going to get off this block. This is the last warning. You will disperse.
All right.
So now, please, thank you.
So this is very interesting.
I just want to know. I just want to know when they're going to deputize NAGA or the new Black Panthers or.
I'm saying, like, yo, dog, I got me a whole costume. When they start getting ready to
I just could never see a group of police, a body of police officers really deputizing a group of black men and say go patrol the city like that.
Are they going to deputize the NFAC? Are they going to deputize?
Can I say something?
Yeah,
so like you see in this video, they ain't doing anything. You know why? Because the police aren't allowed to fight the protesters. In Austin, there was a lady that talked to someone. They were at All Lives Matter police thing, and they talked to him, and they said, we're not allowed to do anything. We're not allowed to hurt these people. We're just supposed to let them do what they want. That's what they said in Austin. Do you with this militia?
What about here? What about here?
Like I said, the reason why Kenosha called these militia because they can't do shit to the protesters. Because if they do, then they will be considered a dictatorship, and then more people would come in and break them down. It's a political hit effect if you think about it. Another thing, yeah. So
would you be saying? Okay, so I'm asking you, Jimmy. Are you saying that you're saying that certain groups were being given the permission?
Yes, I do believe.
So they were given permission against the governor to go around and dish out justice.
I do believe that. Yes, somewhat. Yes.
Okay, that's now.
You can call me crazy. Call me crazy all you want. But
no. I'm not calling you crazy because I'm pretty sure everybody here on this panel is seeing what we just saw. Robbie, what's your feelings on that? You just saw the same guy who walked around shooting people get handed. They were walking around laughing, getting water bottles, walking around. The cops weren't even saying, hey, what are y'all doing out here? What's your thoughts on all that?
I think it's crazy. I think the police should have sent them on their merry way. Like, if you see people with weapons, don't let them think that it's okay to be there. Again, I stand on the platform that people have their rights, but you also have responsibility. If the child was underage, then he shouldn't have had a gun anyway. So they should have addressed that before the drama happened. But I just also put a link in the private chat about the March on Washington. So that makes me very nervous for our people marching on Washington. Are they going to be handed bottles of water and talked to nicely, or is this situation going to be a hair trigger for police moving forward? Oh, if I see you with a weapon, let me shoot you and neutralize the threat before you do anything.
Now you're bringing
the one plus. No, I was gonna say the one thing with that is, at least they're in DC. DC is used to protest and people doing all that, and you got all of the federal law enforcement as well around. So that's a little bit different than versus.
They're a little bit more. They're a little bit more safe with the federal than they are with goddamn Supertron militia. I
was gonna add, like, these other places may not be as equipped to deal with this, and then two, you don't want that look happening in Washington D.C., one of the most premier cities in the world, where you just have like, you know, some sort of incident like that go down.
But I mean, we could say that, but we've also seen police violence against civilians over and over again over the past decade. So I don't think being in a certain city, I don't think, you know, it matters if there's a difference between federal government or local government. I think federal officers are more likely to handle their business because they have more training with firearms. They have more training to see who is a quote unquote terrorist or a threat. They may be, you know, they have more laws that protect their actions. And the reality is protesting is cool, but these are the ramifications that could potentially happen. And we know this because from protests in the 50s and the 60s, civilians were getting hosed down. They were getting dogs set on them. There were fires, there were lynching, there were shooting. So I'm not saying for people to don't take up their arms and fight. But if you go into a fight, don't expect to walk away without any scars. You're on the battlefield now. Whatever happens is fair game.
Can I say two more things before I go? Because I have to leave because my phone's almost dead. So another thing is that what they don't talk about is Mexico, the Las Zetas, a cartel, wanted to start war with the U.S. You know the whole thing that happened in California where that one family was attacked by the cartels in California? That was actually connected to the Las Zetas, along with that drug tunnel that they found. Another thing is that the Las Zetas has been supplying drugs to BLM and Antifa. That's what people don't talk about. And one last thing.
Wait, Jimmy, where's the information coming from?
Homie of mine down in New Mexico.
So a friend of yours told you this?
Yes. You don't have to believe me. There's another thing. So in Louisville, Kentucky, China sent over automatic weapon parts to Louisville. And then the ATF collected most of them, but not all of them. MVAC marched in a month after and had all these guns. I have a feeling that China is also supporting BLM and Antifa at that point too. So
wait. So hang on. So let me get this straight.
I have an article on that one.
Okay. Now, in hearing all this stuff with these secret, how are y'all finding out all these secret deals on YouTube and Facebook and social media?
It's not you gotta dig deep, bro.
Y'all got some hell of a connections out there.
Y'all smart up, dude. Like, damn.
Like they got the inside track on everything. I need to get down with this.
You gotta dig deep. If you dig deep, you'll find the answer. That's the problem with people these days. Kids my age, yes, I'm a kid still. You can laugh at me all you want and call me shit face. I don't care. I'm a kid, but I still know my shit because I know people. And how I know people? Because I have connections. And how you have connections? It's within the forums or whatever you want to call them. Through those
now, Jimmy.
things.
Jimmy. I'm glad you're honest. I'm not. Like I said. Do you believe that Kyle inspires more younger men like you? Does he inspire you?
No, and maybe yes. Depends. The issue with it is that you're gonna have kids. It does paint a bad image somewhat because the guy shot 3 people, and so now they're gonna attack the kids and start laughing at them who believe in conservative ideas. That's another issue. Yes, I do believe in conservative ideas. That's you can let me call me shit. I'm that too.
No. Nobody's calling. No. Here on BMT, we're pretty well neutral in just having the conversations. So.
Yes, it can affect. Yeah. It can affect, but others too don't think like him. Like, yes, do I think he was in self-defense? Sort of. But do I think maybe he should have not shot those 3? Kinda, yes. But it's like you gotta look at it 2 perspectives. If you look at it 2 perspectives, one side's gonna say, "F you, you're a stupid cunt. Why do you support this motherfucker?" And then the other side. Okay, sorry. And with the other side, you're going to say, thank you for doing this. You finally showed them. And then you have a third side, which I'm kind of on two, but there's a third one. And it's like, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not sure. It could be yes or no. Depends. It all depends. Because literally, we're in the Nick Salmon case right now with this. If you don't want to call it that, it really is. I had multiple people say it's a Nick Salmon case. But basically, the guy was getting attacked first, way before that, was getting attacked by other people, but there's no videos up on that.
No, okay.
There's only words on Twitter.
Kyle was getting attacked?
Yeah, by some other protest.
Right.
That was on Twitter.
Now, here's the thing about it.
I want to quickly ask him something. You said, Jimmy, I'm assuming you're in the Wisconsin, Illinois area?
Yeah.
Aren't those areas pretty conservative?
No and yes. You gotta. It's hard to explain. Our governor is like a leftist. I don't want to say it that, but he is, because some of the stuff he has passed lately hasn't really gone good with the conservative people in the conservative way, and a lot of people want to throw him out. But I don't know, because I'm not with the governor kind of stuff. The only thing I didn't like what he did was the lockdown he did, which he shouldn't have done. Like all the other people should have not done. They should have done that lockdown. It shouldn't be a thing. People should have been. They should have been like, no, if you're that scared, live in your home for months and months and months and months and do nothing at all. If you're not scared, go work for your job, go vote. That's like with the mail-in voting. If you can go work your job, if you're able to go get groceries, you should be able to go vote.
So
no. The only reason I asked that is I was surprised when you said people would make fun of you for being conservative, because that's kind of a lot of areas of the country.
You can come over here. You can come. Like I said, I try to keep it very balanced over here.
Sorry with my language. I'm just kind of.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay.
Church.
It's all right. It's no problem. Like I said.
One last thing. I have 3% on my phone. Can I say one last thing? The reason why I'm all mad about these protests is because they burned down a church and took away that game store, along with hurting that family. So that's the reason I'm mad about that protest. If they would have just not done that, just went, hey, can you guys stop? The guy is still alive. The guy is literally alive, and he had a warrant on his arrest too. So I don't understand why people are supporting a rapist, but that's just, I don't get that.
Now, are you talking about
there's sexual charges. You can, yeah, Jacob Blake. You can look this. He has sexual charges. He had a wanted form on him when he got shot. Before that, he had a wanted thing on him. And ABL did a video on it.
Right.
If you know who he is.
So let me break that. Let me break that down.
Did you say ABL did a video?
Right. Yeah, that was very interesting.
What?
First off, Jacob Blake didn't rape anybody. We actually proved that he actually didn't rape nobody. Literally, let me just show you, for instance. Let's say.
Then explain
Hang on, Jimmy, I'm about to help you. If I go over to Rob B's house, right, and me and her were dating, and I go over to her house, and I come in. Now, mind you, I don't stay there no more. I come in and I take the keys and I push her and I touch her breast. Right, that is sexual assault, sir. I should have not put my hands on her in a sexual manner, and also I forced my way in. It does not involve sexual penetration. Like if you would, they would literally tell you it was rape or stuff like that. Like literally, they will let you. He did not rape no child or anything like that. That he literally went, took his stuff from his girlfriend, got into a confrontation, and never came back. And literally, she contacted. Mind you, people get the police called on them and not even know that they have a warrant out on them. So
that's what I was going to say with regards to when they said it was a domestic dispute. I don't want to downplay domestic violence, but anytime I hear that, I'm always like, you never know who's telling the truth, just because people are spiteful, and it can go all sorts of ways.
One last thing, basically, I heard that, and I don't. So I'm not sure, because he did a video on it. He showed the form. The form was in his description. You could look at it. Another thing, what was the other thing I was thinking of? There was something I had to think of.
It's all right. Like I said,
there's people that have been saying he's connected to the CIA, so he's not just a regular officer. They say he's connected to the CIA in some form, and that's not like conspiracy theorists. That's like actual people.
Like I said, don't worry about it. Like I said, you can always come up and have a conversation with me. We're pretty straightforward. Let me pass over to El Ghost. El Ghost, you hear everything being said. You see it, Jimmy. You see everything being said. You heard so far everything. We hear the narrative that this guy was confronted and attacked, and everything else going on. And literally, he's the savior of the Constitution. What's your thoughts on everything going on so far? I know you've been listening. What's going on, man?
Well, thanks for letting me join your panel today.
No problem.
I don't really think that I wouldn't put this in terms of being the savior of the Constitution. I think this 17-year-old who did this was being reckless, and I think the parent who drove him to the scene to start doing what he did is borderline negligent and letting her child go into the middle of a riot zone with a loaded machine, loaded up. Do you follow me on that?
Yeah,
so
yeah, I heard a little bit. Go ahead.
No, what I was saying is that I think that the 17 is still considered a child in most states.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So he shouldn't have been there, and the fact that his mother drove him to the scene is just really out of bounds. Having said that, I would also say that there are extra legal groups that do this stuff all the time. Think of the Montana Freemen or the Border Patriots who do border patrol, or even the Guardian Angels in New York City. These are all civilian groups that join or take things on their own hands to enact, to basically do law enforcement when they're not law enforcement officers. So I think the idea is not exactly true, because it does happen. I think it's just another reason why when something like this goes down, you just need to stay out of it as a regular person. It's just a bunch of chaos.
Right. Now, I want to ask you this. Now, in watching this video right here, you see that the law enforcement is enforcing the law on the protesters, right? And okay. I'm not trying to make it about a race thing. These are all white people. They're walking around with guns. Why is law enforcement not enforcing it with them?
Because of what I just said, is that you're allowed to do this. This happens in other places. For example, Border Patrol works with civilian groups to arrest Mexicans. They're not supposed to be doing that.
Now, those civilian groups, don't they work on farms?
Some of them do. Some of them are coming over from Arizona just because they politically want to be down with the program.
And JJ brings up something. You can't cross.
Some people just want to.
Cross. Now, you can't cross state lines and think, hey, I'm gonna be a militia from another state line. Like, you can't do that. The firearms that y'all see me have, right? Say there's something going on in New York, right? I can't, even if I wanted to, go up to New York to help them.
Well, true, because New York has very, very strict laws on that. But I'll tell you this: there are other states, and I know you know this, that have reciprocity laws. Okay, and those allow you to transfer you can use your gun in another state.
Illinois is not going to be that, though. They got so strict the gun laws.
As long as you're licensed in your state.
I know, the firearms that I have, because of the post 9/11 Act, literally that would be a federal charge I would be eating. Even if I could say, hey, I'm here, I see New York City on fire, I watch Man on Fire 20 times, they'll be like, that's all good and all. Put his ass in the back of the paddy wagon. Because, motherfucker, you're not getting out of this shit. You're not getting out of this at all.
Hey, Nichelle, I have a question, or BMT. We're going back to deputizing people. If someone's deputized, do they become at that point held to the same standards as police?
Yes.
So everything as far as, hey, so I'm assuming, like, unless, like you said, it's BMT, unless it's like a situation where they're looking for, like you said, a missing kid, they should be very careful about deputizing people, because I imagine, A, the liability could fall back on them, and then B, who's really going to have the knowledge to be up to date to really know, hey, this is the proper thing to do in this situation.
Now, let me pull this up. Shout out to researchers. They are really good at what they do. Do y'all know who this is?
Man?
Do y'all know what this is? This is...
Renaissance.
Hang on. That's the wrong goddamn thing. That's the damn other paperwork. This is somebody's goddamn thing. This is for something else. Okay. Hang on. That's for something else. Future content coming up. I got to pull up the arrest sheet. The damn boy has arrest. The boy, he's been in trouble with the cops. Why would y'all... Question is, Nichelle, do y'all think that was negligent on their action to have somebody in trouble with the cops?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Is that negligent to have somebody in trouble with the cops to be out there with a AR rifle?
Considering one of the charges was something along the lines of reckless endangerment with a gun, you know, I'm not going to give him a pass and say, you know, that's just something teenagers do. That's no big deal. He pled guilty to being drunk with a gun.
What the hell?
BMT.
Yes, go ahead, Ghost.
I was going to say that after Katrina went down, there were stories that on many of the communities surrounding New Orleans, there were civilian groups that were preventing people from escaping the flood zones. And they showed some of them on TV. And these guys were armed, and they're sending people back into their communities. And I'm sure you've heard of this happening in other hurricanes, where people decide to arm up, patrol their own neighborhoods, and allegedly under the guise of protecting their homes. And they're doing stuff very similar to what happened during this event that we're talking about today. Civilians are allowed to do this in the United States.
Well, what happened down in New Orleans, you actually had some investigations because you had people who were shot. Especially, yes. I can't remember the district it was in. You had people, and some of them were shot mistakenly, or just like trying. One guy was in that neighborhood. He was trying to get to his home, and they wouldn't let him through.
Well, these are civilians, right? So obviously they're not trained. That's my exact point. That's what I'm trying to say, is that this level of chaos is not unusual or unheard of. That's exactly my point.
Now, we're looking at his misdemeanor. He has his prior criminal history in 2018. He has a charge for disobeying officers. 2016.
Not complying?
Yeah.
Not complying?
Yes, not complying. In 2016, he has a case number already, a misdemeanor class A. Nichelle, what's the misdemeanor class A?
Usually that's a jailable offense. It's a misdemeanor is you can get some time, but under 5 years.
Now that one is he was operating firearm while intoxicated. Now, first of all, operating a firearm while intoxicated.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the one that scares me.
First of all, I would be wondering, like, what kind of household is this kid in? That's the first thing. And if he's operating a firearm while he's intoxicated, now somebody in the chat brought up something very interesting. Why aren't we looking at his parents right now? Any other time, I'd be looking at Robbie. If my child went out and stabbed somebody, like 2 or 3 people, I'm sure y'all be hearing my stuff all over the news. Everything about me, all the way to my past. Why aren't we hearing about his mother? Why aren't we hearing about his dad? Where's the dad? What kind of father allows his son to go out there in the middle of the night to go do this? Since y'all love the Constitution so much, where's the dad at? Why is nobody, since all the conservative groups, why is nobody bringing up his father?
Because it was the father's not in the picture.
Okay. All right. So what about him being an intoxicated? Either he could be a junkie, either he could be a pill popper, Molly, perk.
I told you, BMT, a white pookie that some of these black conservatives want to defend. Black YouTube
guy running around thinking he was probably playing Fortnite or zombies.
With BMT, notice that happened in 2016, right? He's only 17 today. So, as they say, do the math.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying, listen. I noticed that we like to bring up Jacob's past. Why can't we bring up his past? Do y'all not see the correlation? Bring up Negro past. I could have probably done something 20 years ago. That shit will come up. Well, he stole a pack of bubblegum out of a store. He did it when he was 9. Somehow he's a repeated offender. I'm
surprised this is even public.
They'll be like, "Oh, you smoked all this weed. You're a thug and a criminal."
He got caught smoking crack sometime. So it amazes me. Black kid resume comes up. Black person's resume comes up. Hispanic resume. White person's resume. That doesn't come up. Where's the father? Mama Bear. Why would you even allow your kid to even be around firearms if they're going to be getting intoxicated?
No, I was going to add too. I think he dropped out of high school as well, which this kind of takes me back to Trayvon Martin, because they were like, "Oh, he got suspended from school and he smoked weed, so that was his background." I'm just like, look at all this.
I'm just gonna get back to what we were saying. Sorry, I got quiet. Everyone was asking about could militias cross state lines. Well, I had to find that out for y'all real quick. There are four categories. There are 4 categories. 28 states have statutes prohibiting the organization of private military units without state authorization.
You on fire today, girl. Go ahead.
25 states have laws that criminalize paramilitary activity. They make it illegal for individuals to teach others how to use firearms, explosives, or techniques capable of causing injury or death. Let me find the other 2. I was trying to be.
So hold on. So far, what you're going over in the show. If I have, and mind you, this is in Charlottesville. We all remember that. If they said, "Hey, BMT, brother, we're going to need some help out here in Charlottesville. Get that Carolina militia up here now." Could I come over
Can't
there?
do it.
But no, I can't.
Can't do it.
I'm just saying, I could not cross over. Hell, if they're going to ask you, what county are you from? So I know a lot of people say that they don't arrest Antifa and Black Lives Matter. That's a lie. First of all, that's a lie. Literally, the cops will literally ask you for your license or your registration they can ask for that stuff at a protest. They can ask for your ID. And then after that, if you can't show that ID, they're going to be like, "Okay, we want to search. What's in your backpack?" If they find anything of a brick, a rock, any type of thing that can go to being flammable, you can now be arrested for as being charged as a domestic threat a terrorist, however they want to do. Oh, don't be. Oh, I think somebody got charged for a bomb because they were literally on the block of the VA. The VA is government property. He had a brick in his backpack, as well he had a liquor bottle with a rag, a ripped T-shirt. We didn't know what the hell he was there for. I'm here as a supporter. I wasn't going to use that. This is just something for me to wipe my face and drink. It was a very good story.
Next at 4, Pollyanna was tracking a stormy change towards sunny forecast. And the
So the cop was like, "Yeah, no, you're going." Yeah, didn't even try to hear him out. Put him right in the back of the squad car. He got arrested for, and they held him, and they contacted the state police. 18-year-old kid. Now he got a federal charge on him. So whatever people say, they don't arrest Antifa and Black Lives Matter, I don't want to hear that, because I literally watched that with my own eyes. Literally, they do that. Like, they catch you in the act of doing stuff, but certain media are pushing out certain narratives. Let the process do what it's supposed to do. If you're not, then you're out. Then you're out of order. It's illegal for a minor to carry a handgun and purchase a rifle. They can legally carry a rifle even though they can't buy it. There's no difference with him taking a rifle than the majority of Arizona. Okay, thank you. Like I said, and shout out to everybody coming from different states, different areas. They're actually so we're seeing a consensus that a lot of people are looking at, hey, a 17-year-old, because that's very interesting. You have to be a certain age you have to be 21 to buy a handgun. That's a fact. You got to be 21. How did a 17-year-old get an AR-15 rifle that's worth over $400?
BMT.
I mean, he's been charged with a misdemeanor carrying it because in that state, you have to be 18 open carry. That you can get a permit to learn how to use a gun before you turn 18. But you cannot just walk around and have the freedom of a grown person until you become a grown person.
BMT.
Yes.
Even though I'm not going to debate what Nichelle just said, but I'll tell you this: when the rubber hits the road, down here in Florida, we had a guy here who shot up that Parkland Elementary School, and
yes, we did.
He had like over 24 contacts with the police, and he legally owned multiple weapons, including a variation of the AR-15. So, I mean, it's all nice and dandy to say that you're not supposed to have that, but he was a high school student who was armed to the teeth legally. But I was going to say also,
go ahead, Ghost.
I was also going to say, though, when you watch the video, I watched it online outside of YouTube, where they show him shoot the two people, and then they show him surrendering. And if you watch the way the gunman surrendered in this case here, he was able to walk by two MRAPs, and they didn't stop him. You know, he had his hands up. He's walking down the street. I'm sure you've seen the video, right? And two MRAPs, obviously with police officers in them, just rolled by him. And then he went up to another police car. He actually walked up to the window before you see them actually. Obviously, he was instructed to back up, and then the video stops. So
now, why is it that they didn't take him down before he walked that far in? But I got to play the video. Why is it that they didn't do that?
Well, I'm assuming because that he was with them. He was working on their behalf.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying that he got to shoot up those people?
I'm saying if I were walking down the street with a gun like that, I'm sure I'd be gang tackled if not shot immediately. That's what I would expect.
Now, I find it interesting that
you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, he wasn't dressed as Antifa. He wasn't clearly
Bring the Funk fan club to make this possible.
The show, whatever you got in the background.
I'm cutting it off. Sorry, I just had to get that video, and it went loud before I could.
Okay, so let me.
He met no violent resistance when he walked right towards the police with a weapon.
Yeah, but how's it that one guy got violent resistance and he had a supposed knife, but another person did get violent resistant and got shot in the back 7 times, and he was walking away. One guy was walking towards. Now, here's the thing about it. Usually, if you're walking towards, they usually tell you to stop.
Usually, if you're black.
Watch the video. You'll see what happens. Those trucks, those MRAPs, they just roll right by.
Look at the video that I just sent you. A naked, triple murder suspect chased cops and attacked a bystander, and he wasn't shot. I don't even see him getting tased. I might have missed that part, but yeah, I just sent you the video of a naked white guy running around after he has killed up his family. 18-year-old Matthew Bernard.
I saw that video. It's almost comical.
I mean, you know, hey, a black guy might be reaching into his car to get a knife. We don't know what kind of knife it is yet. You know, everything that they have released so far, for all we know, it could have been a Swiss Army knife. It could have been a machete, but I think they would have said machete. So they find a knife on the floorboard, but he has to get shot not 1 time, not 2 times, not even 3, 7 times.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with a knife with 4 cops? Like what are you legitimately gonna do with 4 cops with 2 of them with guns on you? What are you gonna do with a knife?
This man really run around naked. This man really run around naked after killing his whole family.
I literally thought he was. If anything, I thought he was going to try to get in the car and drive off.
Boy, yeah. If I haven't seen a whole pass for, wow, he gonna get that crazy card, and he's grabbing on somebody, and he's choking them.
But endangering the public. They still don't shoot him. They know this man is capable of killing with his bare hands because he didn't just kill his whole family.
Yeah, he doesn't even. He's got his nightstick. He doesn't even point his gun at him. He's trying to chase him with his nightstick.
Right. Don't worry. I'm sure there's a reason for all of this. Maybe their guns are jammed. Maybe something else going on. I don't know these days. I mean, honestly, this is also done by ABC 13 News, and literally they're all like, he's running through the fields and everything, butt naked. Like, wow. Nobody shot him. Nobody tased him.
Did they even? Did anyone even point their guns at him?
I don't see it.
Wow, he actually the dog didn't even go after him. I ain't never seen such a compliant dog. I've never seen y'all miss me with this talk about we are all connected. I don't want to hear shit no more. I've never seen a compliant. That dog, wow. I ain't never seen that shit before. That was crazy. That was crazy.
But they have a reason to be afraid. You know, everyone sits up there with this whole, well, if it had been a me and I saw a black guy and I knew he had a warrant out for his arrest, I'd have shot him too. Dude, did you just realize how racist you just sounded? You sounded so racist when you said, if I saw that big black dude, and I knew how dangerous he was. How did they know how dangerous he was? These are trained police officers. Unlike, the rookie crowd that's running around on Facebook, the police officers knew that, or should have known, that a 3rd-degree sexual assault is basically fondling. It is basically fondling. It's a unwanted sexual touching.
I don't even know if they knew that. I don't know if they knew that. I read in the story I read, correct me if I'm wrong, I just knew that they said someone who was at the residence had a warrant. Because I heard they gave the address. So I don't even know if they ran down what the actual warrant was.
Dispatch does not do that. Like, whenever you call dispatch is just dispatch. If there was something dangerous, they were to fire, they would tell you there's a fire. They tell you that, hey, what's your problem? There seems to be arguing involved in domestic. There seems to be a fight, domestic. That's all they're going to hear.
Well, it sounds like in the purported 911 details, a woman calls and says, "Hey, my ex, he ain't supposed to be here. He should have a warrant out for his arrest because I called about my keys and him assaulting me before." That would have been the rambling that the dispatcher would have heard, because she said in the reports even, it is at one point in time the dispatcher and the woman on the phone they stopped cooperating with each other. The officers were sent, but one, you see the man walking with his pants and the pockets on his shorts pulled out. So it is very unlikely that the police officers were able to positively ID him. So that's one of the...
No, but here's the thing about it. If they have a warrant out on you, and I want y'all to say, if they have a warrant out on you, and let me tell you how they serve a warrant. Attorney Nichelle, we have a warrant out for your arrest. There you go. They'll literally call it out. They'll literally already know who they're going after.
And if they here, I'm gonna say it like this: our city is kind of chicken shit now. What they've decided to do is to curb the door warrant service. What they try to do is catch you while you're driving. They said that reduces exposure to the officers because they can see into a car better than they can see into a house. So they literally drive behind people running their license plate to see if they have a warrant out for their arrest. They will pull you over, knock on the door, knock on your window and say, "Do you realize you have a warrant out for your arrest?" You can say yes, no, what's going on. Then they'll go back and tell you what the warrant is about. Once they positively ID that you are the person in the car or driving in the car that the warrant entails.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I know we went over the 2-hour mark. And the thing about it, so what's y'all basic thing? What's the basics of what y'all want to end in 2 minutes each? Please go ahead. Renaissance Man, I want to end it off with Attorney Nichelle and El Ghost. I don't have nothing to end it off in too much, really. Anything you want to say, Renaissance Man?
Not 2 minutes worth. I just want to say that, this case, once again, it has got so many underlying disparities that it highlights with, how black men are treated versus everyone else in police interactions, as well as it shows for YouTube as well how some of the people in the black sector of YouTube, for some odd reason, I think have a hatred of black men, or a self-hatred, something, because they do some mental hula hoops and jumping jacks to try to justify some of the things I've seen, and I think it's pretty telling. But I'm glad it's coming to light. I think it's a good thing the more it gets exposed. So thank you for always letting me come up, BMT, and yeah.
No problem. We try to give y'all, like, again, me and Nichelle, me, Nichelle, Jay, different other entities, we talked, we asked around. Nichelle was on her stuff, I was doing my stuff, Jay started bringing me some stuff. Like, literally, we took a day and just said, let's wait, get out everything. You see what I'm saying? Get everything proper. So whatever people had, well, what about this? Oh, no, this is the proper information. Like Nichelle, I think she missed out when somebody was bringing up, Jimmy brought up that he raped a woman, that he raped somebody, a child. The show already addressed that before. He did not rape a child. He didn't rape a woman. But again, these narratives are being thrown out. I wish I would stop these narratives. He had a knife. Usually they would have called that out. I don't know where y'all saw the knife at. And I watched the video multiple times. There was no knife. Just like y'all said, Ahmaud Arbery had a weapon. I remember that. Y'all said Ahmaud Arbery had a weapon. Then another time, y'all said Ahmaud Arbery was wearing boots. When we found out that the video was re-edited multiple times. We live in the 2020. We got goddamn TikTok. Editing a video is not even hard. You can do it literally with your cell phone with free apps. Stop playing. Why do you think that's why? And Michelle even told a story about a judge after a woman had got shot in the face. What is the famous quote that the judge was told to the judge? Who are you gonna believe, me or her lying eyes? And she was shot in the face. So again, nobody's talking about these certain things.
I'm sorry, I had my mic muted. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Michelle.
I was going to say the famous quote is, "Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?"
The thing about it, I just want y'all to know, man. It's going to be hard to try to prove his innocence in this. If y'all thought that the George thing was bad, if this kid walks, I'm pretty sure that governor already knows. Under no circumstances can we allow this kid or this to happen. Now, if they are fine with it, then hey. Then I'm pretty sure right now somebody is literally having an answer to why was that kid allowed to walk around. Y'all are making Camilla and Joe's job so easy. Because they're going to bring that up. If Trump literally praises this kid, literally that would make Joey's day. Joey could probably have a stroke right there on the platform. But he said, hey, who are you going to trust? Me, the person dying, or are you going to trust the guy who supports a murderer? And that would be Joe's final word. I need to say this for the radio. I don't need to talk about this one. When y'all getting the good stuff, I need to say this for the radio.
If the RNC convention was next week instead of this week, I wouldn't be surprised if this kid would have been speaking there.
Oh, God. Unfortunately. I mean, we have to I'm taking responsibility as an active member of the Republican Party that when I spoke to a gentleman about how much people love Candace Owens, and I was like, what? No. He said, I know I get criticism for supporting Candace Owens. I said, actually, it's not just criticism, it's foolhardiness, because everyone understands. Everyone on the left understands you're only bringing out Candace Owens to give people comfort food. That there are a lot of white people that feel some kind of way, but they don't understand how to articulate it. But when a black person says the same thing that they've been thinking, then it's okay for me to feel this way. It's okay for me to be afraid of a black man walking down the street because Candace Owens said she would be afraid. So she knows them better than I know them. So Yeah, the Republican Party is taking a chance right now. They're basically saying a vote is a vote, and if Candace can bring in some suburban white women, that's a great thing. That's a great thing for our party. But at the same time, I've had so many long-standing black Republicans walk away from the Republican Party. They may still support individual candidates, but they are walking away. So are a lot of long standing white Republicans. Call it what you may. You saw the list. It was like 25 to 50 prominent Republicans that actively endorsed Joe Biden.
Yes.
So
No,
we
I
want to
was
get.
gonna say. No, I was quickly gonna say, like, as much as I give black conservatives a hard time, there are some legit, people who are conservatives slash black Republicans who are, sensible, and you can talk to that, they're not even standing for this. Like, look at Colin Powell. He got out a long time ago.
I mean, like I said, there's this social media
And
thing.
and then you've had the influx of these new guys who don't really know anything.
They don't know what conservatism is about. They don't know what being a Republican is about. As I said, most of them don't even.
It's a
Yes.
trend. It's a trend, not.
And make it harder for people who legitimately, who like yourself, BMT, or you, Nichelle, they make it harder for you all to gain any sort of real traction or be taken seriously.
How can you sit up there and say you believe in limited government and you want to give police carte blanche to do whatever they want because they want to go home to their families? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. When people are sitting up there saying, well, I wouldn't want to be a police officer. I wouldn't want to do that. But if it wasn't for a police officer, someone might steal my stuff. Hello, you have nothing to steal, because if you had something to steal and you would ever call the police because your stuff had gotten stolen, you would know that you need insurance more than you need the police. They don't even dust for fingerprints. They come out, they let you tell them what was stolen, was a window broken in, to how did they gain entry, and then they give you a report to turn over to your insurance company. So again, our police forces are not out there running around trying to collect your stuff for you. If they happen to find someone who's fencing a lot of merchandise and they can make a bust and find a lot of stuff, they will confiscate that stuff as part of their criminal investigation, and it will sit somewhere in a locker room for years, even if they can't find a use for it. So we really, as conservatives, we need to push back on within our own party to say, no, we don't, that's not us. Wrong message. Wrong message. I know you're trying to get likes and shares. You're trying to be a commentator, but that's not getting the vote out for us. It's actually turning people away and encouraging other people to incite the Democrats to go out and vote, because Democrats will vote when they're afraid.
Well, guys, I'm a little bit past the time. I really got to use the bathroom now. So, other than that, I'm glad that we could actually give you the proper information. We did it unbiasedly. You saw us even bring up people that are unfamiliar, but they were actually pretty neutral. Ghost, I didn't even get to you. Ghost, do you want to say anything? Now, so
BMT.
Huh?
I just have one last comment I want to make. I think this, for young people who want to join these riots and protests, I would advise against it, because you don't know who you're going to run into. Suppose this kid had a bum fire add-on to his rifle. He could have caused mayhem on the scale of that Las Vegas. So you really don't want to be out there facing an opponent. It's not worth it. It's just going to be a dead body out there for no reason at all. So that would be my warning for young people who want to actively participate. You're better off just voting or doing something else. But going out there at night, burning up cars, smashing windows, throwing bricks, and then you run into some guy like this, and you're just going to be dead. Don't do it.
It's not worth it. You protest when your negotiations at the table have stalled. Right now, these protests are keeping people from the table who actually could reach a deal. People need to identify what they really want. You know, 3 things. What do you want in your neighborhoods? My neighborhood may be different. I'm about education, transportation, and housing. I support not only the Second Amendment, not only the First Amendment. I know that the Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth Amendment, even the Ninth Amendment are vital to our survival in this country. So unless we get on board and say, you know, Nichelle, police officers have a difficult job, but they have to do it within the confines of the Constitution. They have, unless a person is trying to kill them as probable cause that there's imminent threat of bodily harm or death, then put your gun away. Put it away. But I'm praying that this country comes together from my children, my future grandchildren. We can't continue to have this dehumanizing way of dealing with people who are victims in our society. People do not deserve to die just because they may have done something wrong in the past. That's why we have due process. So on the note of due process, I'm going to let y'all go. Have a good weekend. Don't forget the hour of power.
Yes. Thank you for that. Again, guys, if you always want to tune in and catch us, remember, we do have the hour of power on Sundays. That's when we will most likely be back on. Like I said, we're pretty much, like I said, just doing our recording. I might have another video, I'm not sure, coming up, but if you want to hit us up, you can always reach us. Also, that's the wrong thing. Where is it at? If you want to reach us, you already know where to reach us on the Negro Shade Radio. Literally Negro Shade Radio. You can look it up. It's in the description below. You can also hit us up. In on our email. Members have more rights to actually do more things because they are the ones that are contributing towards us doing what we do. Also, join the Patreon. The Patreon is more so of a sit down and where we have explicit shows. They actually rule over setting stuff. So you guys, definitely, I thank y'all for everything. I do what I can as best I can for y'all because you guys are the ones that are setting up and building BMT every day more and more. So we do what we can for you guys because you guys deserve it. I see you guys later. This is Joe, BMT, signing off. Peace.